here with author and musician Gretchen Cornwall.
Yes.
Very kindly agreed to speak to us tonight regarding a number of subjects, and Gretchen's written a book, so we can talk a little bit about that. So Gretchen, what I'm going to ask you first really is, what started your interest in the Knights Templar?
I would have to say I have always been interested in crypto history, but I read Lawrence Gardner's book when it came out in the 90s on the Holy Bloodline and its connection to the Templar Knights, and he managed to personalize it in a way that I hadn't come across before, made it human and therefore understandable and attainable. And I wanted to know more about these people, what they wanted, what were their goals, how did they feel about things, what were they protecting. So I contacted Lawrence, and he agreed to have me do marketing work for him basically in the USA, which was exciting and fun. And that actually led me to meet John, because he was...
Who was in the background over there,
yes,
working away,
yes.
just slightly off camera.
So that's how John and I met, was through author Lawrence Gardner. And that's why I became so passionate about the Templar Knights, because they are our window into the Western Enlightenment tradition, the Hermetic tradition of Europe. A lot of people go to India for enlightenment to find their guru, but if you scratch the surface here in Europe, it's always been here, and it's still alive. So
Fascinating. I'd never heard that particular take on it before.
it is not easy to find, but it is here, and the descendants of the Templar Knights are still very much active, aware, looking forward to the future. You have to remember that they were across the entirety of Europe, and each preceptory had a great deal of backup. A knight in battle needed 6 people to keep him going.
Mm.
The preceptories back home were making tiles, they were making wine, they were engaged in the community, trading with other markets, and they were often in their communities. The attorneys, they were the banks, of course, everyone knows that. Unlike the Cistercians, their cousins who started them, they were very much focused on working with whatever town they found themselves in, wherever the preceptory was based.
Yeah.
So they were the public face of the Hermetic tradition in Europe, and to those in, how do I say it, basically where they were protecting the secrets of the bloodline, Christ, his children, the Merovingian dynasty. And these people had to have jobs.
Yeah.
So, but you can kill off a few key players, but because they were engaged in the community and the guilds of Europe, they had lay people involved in the guilds. So that tradition spread out and survived.
Yeah.
So the sheer numbers of people involved were greater than what we are told, and greater than those that are in the front, that bore the brunt of the persecution in 1307.
And the famous Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Where
yes.
we get that date from.
Absolutely.
I mean, during your research, you've travelled to various temples.
Yes.
As part of them. Were there any that particularly stuck out in your mind that inspired you to do more research or gave you a certain feeling?
Oh, that's almost not fair. In the book that I've currently is out now, I would have to go back to Caldbeck, which is in the north of the country of England, practically forgotten, south of Carlisle, very beautiful, rural, quiet. It is unknown, and it is not far from Temple Sowerby, which was razed to the ground, preceptory not too far away from Temple Sowerby. But Caldbeck is very special to the Templar Knights now, as well as in the past. And there are a whole series of modern maps that acknowledge the past and shine a light on Caldbeck. The Templar that I met called it the keystone for the matrix map of the world. And this is, ley lines are important. We spoke about that before the camera came on. When you have a monument or a building, you are participating in the energies of the world and creating a beam of light. It's not too different from is it Isaac Newton and that painting of him? Am I getting this right? I've got this image of this crystal and a beam of light shining through the crystal in this man's hand.
I know the painting.
So you're basically looking at light force energies linking across the world in this map I was given. And the map I was given a long time ago spurred an important section of the book. And there is a serpentine formation going up the entirety of Great Britain, linking Templar sites, some known, some unknown. And the Caldbeck location, which it culminates at the altar of St. Kentigern's or St. Mungo's in Caldbeck, literally bang on, the altar, is the keystone of this energy map, and given to me by this Templar a few years ago. And one of these locations is in Westgate.
Really?
Not too far from here. One of these energy vortexes that pins down this serpentine energy all the way up from south to north to Scotland. So.
Well, I have to ask, as far as the energy is concerned, is it as strong now as it was originally? I've heard people speak before that certain energies need to be reactivated in order to have the initial power they had.
I think this has been here for a long time and perhaps was recognized not only in the past but currently. What is incredible about this energy map is that it keys in with the Ordnance Survey map.
Is this a map that we would be able to see? We could
show
book. People that map. It's in the book.
The secret dossier. It is in my book.
When is the book actually fully published and released?
It was, the ebook form came out last September.
Yeah.
And I hope to have the print version out this October at the latest.
Fantastic. This is something that people will be able to get on Amazon.
Absolutely.
I take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And along with an outline of the history of the Templar Knight Order going back 2,000 years, if not further, all the way up to present day. So.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic. Quite a while.
9 years. 9 years.
9 years of research.
9 years of research and work. And it was quite challenging to put a cutoff point on this. I realized I had too much information, it was too broad of a topic, and the original focus of the book had to be put aside because the content I was given took over my book. And the original focus of the book was on a local monument. There was an article in the paper that I was writing this book, and I was contacted by this man saying he represented the modern Templar Knight Order its descendants,
Wow.
real descendants, and he said, I'd like to meet, I'd like to show this to you. And it just took over. It was too important.
It became a different life journey at that point, I suppose.
It did, and it was gradual, and then I realized, I thought, this is too big.
Yeah.
I have to do it, and I have to put the other topic aside for a future work.
Fantastic. So you met one of the existing Templars.
I've met one of them, yes.
If you could tell me, Gretchen, a little bit about the existing Knights Templar that you met.
He's very private. He's related to the Medicis, to the French kings as well.
The
Merovingian, yes. Well, the Merovingians. If you can trace your family to Charlemagne, then you're a Merovingian, basically.